What's up, Wal-Markers? Here we are in our Wal-Mark round discussion here. Today I got joining me today. We got Rizzow. Rizzow, what's up, man?
And I'm obviously doing a hell of a lot better than you because I can actually speak straight, motherfucker. Now I'm doing great. It's like about to apparently be a blizzard here or something in Ohio. But other than that, I got Monday off. I don't care. I've got a 3-day weekend ahead of me. And for me, this is my Super Bowl. I love the Royal Rumble. See, I talk shit and you got no I love the Royal Rumble. I love the Royal Rumble more than I do WrestleMania. This is my favorite time of year. Normally, right about right now, I would be watching TakeOver, which obviously isn't happening, which is kind of depressing. Yeah. But we're gonna make the best of it, and I'm ready to talk about this year's Royal Rumble. And I got a bold prediction. I'm telling you. Even though one of y'all might have the same one, I think this is the best prediction to date.
Gonna be lit. And also joining us for the first time ever, Cephus. Cephus, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I'm super excited myself. Like Rizzow said, it's damn near more important than WrestleMania. I have a big party every year. It's the one pay-per-view I don't have to ask my wife to watch with me. She just automatically watches it.
Yeah, and as you guys know, we've done a lot of interviews, and a lot of them have said their favorite pay-per-view was the Royal Rumble. Like it's just it leads to the road to WrestleMania, like they'll say.
There's nothing like being at the Rumble.
And
let me show y'all something a little bit real fast before we get started. I don't know if I've ever publicly on the page showed this, but this is one of my favorite pieces of memorabilia I got. This is a chair from the 2009 Royal Rumble. One of my favorite pieces I got. It was in San Antonio, I think. Randy won that year. I love it on the backside. And it's super cushiony. Mark Henry is signed here, but it's kind of messed up. And then, but most importantly, you can see apparently Russia's most interesting man in the world before he turned into Russia's most interesting man in the world.
Nuts. It might have been afterwards because I actually attended the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, unless there was one after the one I attended, which I don't know if there was. That's the one where the final two were Taker and Michaels. So it might have been the one after.
Well, that's funny. I witnessed a Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas, but it was when Orton won in 2017, when it was down to Orton and Bray.
So you're right then. Like I said, there was one after the one that I attended. Yeah, I attended the one, like I said, what was the last two was Taker and Shawn.
Yeah, I'm from San Marcos, Texas, so like I was there in the 97 Rumble when Austin won, and it was 20 years later at the Alamo Dome. I was like, man, I really need to go down there. So.
Do you have hearing damage from that night? Because I bet that
was insane, man. It was fantastic. There's never been I've been to WrestleManias. WrestleManias have a different feeling, but there was something about the counting down. There was more crowd participation, man, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Plus, I don't know if you remember that night, but that was when Cena won his 16th title. So I got to see all kinds of history. You know what I mean? That was one of the greatest matches ever, him and AJ.
And you
I
said
didn't even think that's the ring was.
You said you lived in San Marcos, Texas?
Yeah, San Marcos.
Man, so this is way off topic of our Royal Rumble. Just San Marcos. You probably wouldn't be able to tell now, but back in the day, I was a little stud. So my mother had a friend that lived in San Marcos, and her daughter was having a quinceañera, and she's like, we need somebody to escort this girl, like her friends are terrible, these are pictures she's gonna have for the rest of her life. My mom's like, well, I got this decent looking son that I'm gonna volunteer his services for the night. I have no idea. And she was great looking. I mean, when I was 15 and she was 15, I thought, she was a beautiful girl, so, and that happened to be in San Marcos, Texas, and we were in San Antonio, so that was a little hike, man.
How old are you, Luna?
How old am I now?
Yeah.
31.
Okay, so I'm 33, so I'd have been 2 years. We wouldn't have been at the same party. I was like, I wonder if there's a chance.
Oh no, y'all probably full of quinceañeras. You'll probably have them every day over in San Marcos. It's far enough from the border, but the demographic is pretty high up there.
There's a significant difference in the type of Mexican food you can get. Though people always try to take me out to go get Mexican food. I'm like, it's nothing compared to like actually being in Mexico or in Texas. That area, they have a real Mexican. Like I can't, you know what I mean? Like the food is much better there than it is at like Acapulco up here.
Ooh. I've been away from Texas too long. As you guys know, I'm been a lightweight, haven't drank as much, especially during this quarantine. So that's the slurring of the words that Rizzo inherited a second ago. So,
yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm medicating, so
I'm kind of doing both. I got the Bud Select and I got my handy dandy little fucking THC shit.
Hell anyway, yeah. See, we'll start with you, man.
You get authentic fucking people.
Yeah. See, we'll start with you, Matt. So what are your predictions on the Royal Rumble? We'll start with the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Sasha Banks, the champ, versus Carmella.
I love Carmella. I really would like to see Carmella take it. But I feel like if they let Sasha lose this quick again, she's going to lose all credibility, and it might end up being her last title run. They need to keep her strong for a while. Like, for a while, she hadn't even had one successful defense. She's had that now. But I really think they need to – let's keep it on her till WrestleMania. Let's – you know what I mean? Let's get her built as, you know, as either face or heel, wherever they're going with her. Let's get her as good as we can and then do something at WrestleMania instead of now.
Okay, and before we get Riz on here, you mentioned keep the belt till Mania. So without like a spoiler of who your prediction is for the women's Rumble, like who are probably like the top one or two women that you would want her to face at Mania if she kept the title?
Man, I mean, I know we've seen them a lot lately, but I'd love to see Sasha and Bayley wrestle each other.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're not going that way, you know what I mean? But I would love to see that, but I'd also like to see Becky or Ronda. You know what I mean? If Becky came back tonight, you know what I mean, and won the Rumble, and it was Becky versus Sasha, I think that's damn near on the level of a women's match being capable to main event again. You know what I mean? I don't think it would, but I think it almost has the capability.
Okay. And Riz, what do you think about that match?
I think everybody has ranked Sasha very high lately, and she's looked at as a not quite top star, but she's getting close to. And I don't think they're going to take that momentum off her anytime soon. So I'm going with definitely going with Sasha on this one.
And what sucks, like Cephus mentioned earlier, about how she for a while didn't have a successful title defense.
Yeah.
And reason being, I feel
on pay-per-view anyway.
Yeah, it's a WWE, I feel, and this has been a feeling that I've had for the last few years, is what they do is swap the titles so much, you know, with these women that eventually, whenever they retire, they just want to build the accolades for like a Hall of Fame package. So whenever they had that exchange with Sasha and Charlotte, how every pay-per-view was switching the title so they can say like, oh, this person won it X amount of times, this person won it X amount of times. They just had Bayley become, I guess, you know, the longest running SmackDown women's champion with this new title, and they put it on Sasha. I feel like I said, which you brought up earlier, she'd won it so many times that she would lose credibility if she loses it. But I think it's about that time to build Carmella's accolades for an eventual Hall of Fame package. Like I said, Sasha had her time, Bayley had her time, Becky, Ronda, and everything. It's Carmella's time. So Mella is money, and it's going to lead up to, I feel, Carmella being the SmackDown Women's Champion at WrestleMania. I think she's taking it at the Rumble. Carmella.
She'd be a good person to lose it at Mania for sure.
Yeah. And
I will say this, though. To your point, and a lot of people's point, because a lot of people bring that up, and I think this is forgotten about for whatever reason. Everyone talks about the Sasha Banks record as far as her title defenses goes. if you remember, a lot of those switches were done when her and Charlotte were having some of the best women's matches I've ever seen in my life. So it had to go back and forth to keep it going, and it was worth it. That Hell in a Cell match that ended that was incredible. So yes, that is a real statistic, but it's one that is kind of too inflated, I think, because of the back and forth to keep that storyline going. And those matches, like I said, whoo, God, those were fire.
They lit me up, man. I agree with you 100%. The women's matches at that time were definitely outshining the men. Like you said, that Hell in a Cell, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what sucks is, like, I hate to sound like a mark, but, it's at the point of time where you got to throw a bone at all these women at some point so they don't want to go elsewhere, So Sasha took her break, however they did that in the storyline whenever she came back post-Mania, when her and Bayley lost the titles. Carmella's done her time. She was the Money in the Bank winner. Like I said, I think this is just one of those things where, like you said again, she could lose the title at Mania. She doesn't need a belt to stay relevant and reinvent herself and be entertaining, make money. She was paired with R-Truth. R-Truth is not a person who, would put himself.
I like that. I like that quite a bit.
And put himself over others. Like, she knows like what this business is about, getting that guidance to where I feel like it's just an accolade thing. She's going to win the title. She was the first ever Money in the Bank winner. She's going to have the SmackDown's women's title, just to say that she had it at this point in time. We'll lose it at Mania and continue to make money. So that's why I feel she'll lose it to somebody at Mania that is going to be a classic that we're accustomed to with these women now. But that's just my take on Carmella winning the strap. She's going to lose it at Mania, but I feel like it's her night at Rumble to eventually lead in this Hall of Fame package.
So you're picking Carmella, just so we're clear on that.
Carmella. Carmella. I don't know if you caught that. and y'all are both at Sasha?
Yep.
Is that correct? Yep. Okay. We got it. So we're 2-1 for this first one. It's good. And staying on the women's level, the women's tag team championship, Asuka, Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax and Shayna. So Rizzo, you first, my friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just hearing that match made me fall asleep just thinking about it. I probably would say without giving too much of a, we'll circle back to my reasoning. Okay. But I would say it's going to be Charlotte and Asuka to go to take this one. But the reason why we'll get there. But
okay,
keep going.
Yeah, and I guess I'll go next. I don't know why this is on the card, to be completely honest. There were so many other championship matches that could have gone on this card, and so much other story to tell with this that to me it doesn't make sense. The last time I believe we did a predictions, I had a Jew bag on. One of the things that I was saying is, because we all know I'm not the hugest Nia Jax fan.
Who is?
By any means.
Nia Jax, that's pretty much it.
But what I said was that I was excited for her to be teamed up with somebody like Shayna, because she can learn how to be a heel. She doesn't have to do these squash matches, look like a monster. Like, they can put her with somebody that'll calm down, keep her out of the ring less, and help her work. And I think they've done a really good job of shaping that tag team to make them a top contender, not the best. They had their run. Why they gave it to Asuka and Charlotte, I don't know. But
I do.
If Asuka and Charlotte win, like I said, it brings down Nia and Shayna. And if you're trying to look forward and make Nia better, I feel like the straps was the best option. Why, like I said, why they took it off, I don't know. So I want them to win. I do. Like, I love the program now with Nia, and as you know, this is going to be recorded and posted later. So on record, I'm going to say I liked Nia and Shayna as champs. I want them to win. I don't know why this is happening, but my pick is going to be Asuka and Charlotte. Because I don't think they're gonna swap it back to Nia and Shayna. I don't know what they're doing with this story. I don't know where it's going. I'm excited, kind of, but Nia was on the right track, and they pulled it. But Asuka Charlotte is where I'm at. Cephus.
All right, so here's why they're champions. Okay, the reason they're champions right now is because they're working towards a Asuka Charlotte at Mania. Okay, I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe they lose the titles tonight, and then in the Rumble, they're in the Rumble together, and one of them eliminates the other, or something of that matter. But something tells me that the titles will be taken off of them tonight and be put on Nia and Shayna to try to build them as a stronger team, while also furthering their story. They're also furthering the Charlotte and Asuka story. I would love to see Charlotte and Asuka too. I think that, most wrestling fans would agree on that. That was one of the best WrestleMania matches for a singles women's match ever. You know what I mean? So I think that a number 2 visiting of that would be a good story for them. So I don't know if that means one of them wins the Rumble tonight, or if that means they just kind of use the Rumble to write their story and they just have a regular singles match. Who knows? Yeah. But we'll see. I'm definitely on the Nia and Shayna side, though.
Okay, and WWE does a lot of, repeat storylines or homages to older storylines and everything. So maybe, in the event that Asuka and Charlotte were to keep the titles, maybe they can do a Rey Mysterio Eddie Guerrero type feud where they fight each other at Mania, just for competition reasons, and who knows where it can go from there. But I know also Charlotte is in that storyline, with Lacey Evans going on right now. So that could play a factor in, like you said, Nia and Shayna winning. I just don't see them just putting the straps on it. So Riz, is right now the time to do the circle back, or is it in later predictions on your reasoning?
Later predictions.
Got it. Got it. All right. I will go first on this one. So it's the Universal Championship, the last man standing match, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I think the story that's being told right now has been amazing so far. I don't know how to elaborate more on this than you guys. I'm just going to say Roman Reigns. They've had it going strong. Like I said, I'm going to revert back to the predictions, like I said, when I did with Jew, around, I think it was Mania time or post-Mania anyway, where I said when Roman comes back, I'm not going to say I'm the mind of wrestling or anything, but I said when Roman comes back, title's going to him. And it happened. I even predicted Nia being teamed up, before it happened. There's a lot of things I'm just saying I've called, but I said Roman was going to be the guy when he got back. And that's what's happened so far, and I don't see any reason why they would take the strap off of him. So my prediction is Roman. Cephus,
absolutely, dog. I'm with you 100%. There's no reason that you take this off of him. He needs to be tribal chief till at least Mania, if not till the Mania after. I feel like a strong heel champion is something really good to build. This is the only way we're going to ever get another Austin. It's the only way we're going to get another Cena is if we have an unstoppable heel that is credible and is worth something. And he has the dynasty, he has the lineage, you know what I mean? So people love him for that respect. But I think, personally, in my opinion, that's why he's wrestling Kevin Owens, because they want him to seem even more substantial than he is, and Kevin Owens can get a good match out of a broomstick. So you take somebody that is already the level of Roman Reigns and put him with Kevin Owens, and you're going to have a 5-star match, especially with a last man standing match. So, but I'm definitely going with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and Riz, before we get to you, if I could jump on that a little bit more, you mentioned a credible heel or a credible champ, leading to even possibly the next Mania. Right now, Roman is strong, but in reality, he's doing like a modern day version of like the 80s, the 70s, 80s, like chicken shit heel type thing, where he has to cheat in a way to win. So I feel to get from I said a credible champion from here to Mania and even going beyond. He's gonna have to step that game up and have these classes with these guys, because you can't just have great matches. Like it's all about storytelling, as we know with wrestling. So you have to have filler storylines. So that's why with this chicken shit stuff going on with him cheating and needing, the Usos and Paul Heyman to continue to be champion, I don't feel like it tarnishes the dominance that he's had. And I feel like right now he's going to have this match with Kevin. Like I said, I feel he's going over, but that leads to his next challengers coming in and having those classics and showing why he should have been champion. So like I said, I'm glad you mentioned that, because like I said, I don't feel like this interference stuff should go against, like I said, his dominance. So Rizzo, your prediction.
SmackDown is the number one show in professional wrestling, both in ratings and in storytelling right now. You don't change ship right before the beginning to WrestleMania when you have the most successful entity in wrestling. Roman keeps it.
Yeah, and I feel like it's because no one else has AC/DC doing their theme song.
It reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of when CM Punk was in the Straight Edge Society. Like, he was chicken shit heel all day, but he would also beat the shit out of you in a match with his mask on. You know what I mean? He would still get credible wins even without interference. You know what I mean? So I like what you're saying. If they give him good matches while he's also being a chicken shit, it makes him this strong presence. And I mean, he's already strong even when he's a good guy. You know what I mean? So it takes his presence to another level.
Yeah, because if you just evaluate stuff like pre him coming back, like pre leukemia stuff, everybody hated him because he was like compared to Cena, shoved down my throat, 5 moves, like I don't want to see this again for another generation, and then he came back and did his stuff with the Shield so we can cheer him again. And we're like, yay, and then he comes back as the heel that everybody wanted, and it's overly heel. But during this time, all he was doing was working out. All he was doing was training. So everything that we hated him for, he's actually showing out and showing that he got better during that time off. So everything that we hated about Roman Reigns, it's completely different from his character now, because now he's just like I said, chicken shit heel. So like, man, fuck Roman. Like, he needs the Usos to win and keep this title. Like, he reinvented himself. He's got Paul Heyman. Like, it's entertaining stuff, and we just need to let him grow, like I said, and show what he's learned, and like I said, put him with people like Kevin Owens and stuff that could make him better and learn more psychology instead of just these spots that the higher ups want. Like, I'm not sure I've even seen the what is that called, the drive-by or whatever, on the ropes, and he like runs and does that big boot, like the hula kick, whatever. Like, I haven't seen that in a while. Like, stray away from moves like that and actually have classics. And I'm glad they're doing that with Roman Reigns right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the WWE Championship match, Rizzo, we're going to start with you. Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg.
I want to say something, and nobody's going to agree with me, and I don't really give a shit. Okay. But nobody has stopped talking about how much they hate the fact that Bill Goldberg is facing Drew McIntyre for a month straight, which is exactly why they booked Bill Goldberg into this match, because people have done nothing but talk about this match over and over and over and again. And every single person wants to see what's going to happen. Every single person wants to see what's going to happen. Everybody keeps wanting, why do they keep bringing Goldberg back? This is why, right here, because we're talking about it right now. People have been talking about it for a month straight. Does that mean I want Bill Goldberg to win? Absolutely not. However, I totally understand why this is happening. This match makes sense. The only way it doesn't make sense is if Goldberg wins. Now, with that being said, McIntyre wins.
Okay. Cephus.
I kind of agree, but I kind of don't. This is from somebody who actively in 2020 purchased a new Goldberg shirt. I can't fucking stand to see Goldberg anymore. And it's not that I don't want to see Goldberg. It's that I don't want to see the same exact fucking stories. If they come in and he wins the title real quick, or they give it, whatever happens, I don't want to see that. I would love to see Drew, completely kick his ass. But I guess I could have been shut up and I wouldn't have bitched about Goldberg as much if there would have been some kind of, I don't know, mini rumble to determine his fucking who would win if I face Drew McIntyre for the title. If there was some kind of qualifier match that he just surprise entered, that would have brought me to where I was like, yes, like Goldberg versus Drew. But instead of him just coming out there and being like, "What's up, pal?" Like, I eat my ass. I can't get behind that.
To your point, though, they can do this type of throwaway thing, and it would totally make sense in the end. And basically, as long as Bill Goldberg is a sacrificial lamb here, and he loses like he should, this is a complete throwaway match that has gained a shit ton of attention. The Rumble is not for somebody to get a chance. I mean, granted, now anyway, not maybe so much in the 90s, but the Rumble is focused on the winner of the Rumble. Keith Lee being in this match does not make more sense than him winning the Royal Rumble. It's more important to Keith Lee to win the Rumble. Besides Keith Lee, we're going to do another Randy versus Drew match. Nobody really wants to see that at this point. You can't do Fiend because Fiend's dead. Who else do you fucking put him up against? Like, this is the best case scenario throwaway match that you could possibly ask for, as long as Drew wins. If Drew doesn't win, then none of this shit made any difference at all.
Yeah,
I mean, they could have also went the route of adding what is Mustafa's place called again? What do they call it? Retribution.
Yeah.
And then it did Mustafa versus Drew. You know what I mean? I'm granted that's different. No, wait, that's right.
And Retribution would be DOA because Mustafa ain't fucking winning that, number one. So they're going to lose.
So they're trying to do a throwaway, but at the same time, I guess I agree. They're dragging in, my uncle's watching this. He's watching it because of Goldberg. So maybe you're right. I don't know.
Yeah,
as long as there is an asterisk. As long as Bill loses. If he wins, then disregard every fucking word I just said.
Yeah, there's no way Mustafa's going over because he got himself over on social media. Therefore, WWE didn't him over.
That's the rule. That's the rule.
The new Zack Ryder.
Yeah, because you got people talking on WWE. Was it backstage or the show? Right.
Raw talk. Yeah. So like, because you got people talking about you when you were on Raw Talk, you're done. You overshadowed the Legends Raw. You're done. Only one person has survived that, and that was The Miz. I'm not even gonna lie. That's what made me a fan of The Miz. When he went off on Daniel Bryan, about how they didn't push him, that's when I started becoming a fan of him.
I mean, we'll get to The Miz here soon. So, if I could chime in on this matchup, Cephus, I agree with you with how Goldberg is being used in this match. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Rousey, all these people, they do not need a title to draw. I don't think he should have come back for this. He had a match with Ziggler post Crown Jewel. Everyone was excited to see him because, like, it's not that I hate Goldberg, the character, and don't want to see him, but he's only good for one thing. Like, you can't expect a clinic out of this match. Like, you're not going to get a 5-star match out of Drew McIntyre and Bill Goldberg, especially Bill Goldberg in this stage. Like, he's just living proof.
I don't even need that.
Old dog, new tricks kind of thing.
I just need it to make sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Like you were saying earlier, he comes out in a promo saying, "I heard what you said," when Drew McIntyre said nothing.
Nothing.
That was not Bill's fault. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing and reading the script. The fucking producers screwed him on that one.
Yeah, but and then it ended with McIntyre saying that he respects everybody, but it's like, but fighting my dad. So you respect everybody, and this is just corny. This is just stupid. gets shoved down, makes to look weak. So when you're saying Goldberg has to lose, he punked Drew. He made him look weak. And then this guy that you just were, dominating and just shoved, because when you think about it, when he beat Brock Lesnar in a squash, essentially started with that shove. Brock was like, "Fuck is this?" Gets up and eats a spear. Another spear and jackhammer done.
That was so shy.
I know, and that's the thing. Like these guys don't need titles. They don't need to be in these matches to draw. Like you can be, like I said to you guys offline on our group page. Sometimes you can treat these main shows like an indie show. You can have your comic reliefs. You can have like a name that's coming in to fight somebody, and of course, that big name is going to squash somebody. Like it's fine. But build your superstars, build your main event guys, and don't have them shit on by these guys coming in. I'm going against the grain here because I'm going to say Goldberg.
What?
Going to win. And my reason being is going to come with my Rumble prediction. So I'm just going to say McIntyre is dropping the title because he was the one that was supposed to be fed to Goldberg, essentially. Randy Orton won the title from Drew McIntyre. They randomly gave it to Drew back, and I feel like it was to lead to this match, to lead to something else. So my pick, Goldberg, and this Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre, like you said, because it's not going to last long. Goldberg cannot go past a 5-minute match and it be good. So it's going to be one of those things. He takes the title. Everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? Like you were saying, we're all talking about it. Same thing as Brock Lesnar coming in and killing Kofi Mania. Goldberg's going to come in and kill McIntyre's push. It's happening. Goldberg. Like I said, and I'll bring that up in my Rumble predictions. So Cephus, your pick, the female Rumble.
I like what Mick said, and I think Rhea, I don't know if you've seen Mick Foley's post, but I think Rhea Ripley would be a great choice, but I think that because Mick so outwardly supported her, I think that might have hurt her, because we all know how Vince is. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see Rhea win it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to get a surprise entrance winner, and it's either going to be Becky or Ronda. But I'm going to put my official pick as Becky Lynch.
Okay. That Becky.
You don't have to do much to win the Rumble. You know what I'm saying? You really don't have to. So she could put them in at 28. You know what I mean? They're revealing the last two entrants, right? Or they're revealing. Okay, never mind. Nick, what's her name? Natalia and what's her name is fighting for who's number 30. So they're not revealing, she could be number 29. Becky Lynch would be an amazing number 29. So, and she wouldn't have to do much, you know what I mean? She is post baby. So she probably isn't 100%, but she could be 100% by Mania. And it would be super easy to just let her win the Rumble real quick. So I'm going to go with Becky. Hence,
makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. Riz, who is your pick?
Okay, we're going to go ahead and circle back to what I was talking about before about the women's tag team match. I think Asuka and Charlotte win because this is the way you break up Nia and Shayna completely, and Shayna wins the women's Royal Rumble this year. And they go off. They go off to make her the top women's heel in the company.
Bold.
We'll see for sure.
I was going to say Last year, I would have loved that pick. I love Shayna Baszler. As you guys know, my love for Shayna Baszler. But
it's weird.
It's very weird.
I feel
so weird we can't even talk about it because if people watch this shit, they're going to hear some of the things that you say, and it's just going to be bad.
They're going to be like, damn, Lunas.
The thing is, like, my wife, she doesn't get mad. She's like, why? It's more offensive.
So are we, dog. Why?
Why?
It looks like my foot.
Why not? Anyway, I digress. My pick this year is going to be Rhea Ripley.
When she wins, I'm going to be so butthurt that I didn't go with you.
Rhea Ripley. So, and I really don't have much reasoning behind it. It's just I feel like everything that she's done on the main roster was gold. They don't really do much with her because they're saving, like I said, the best for the future. She's got a lot to offer, a lot to do. She was part of 2 Mae Young classics. Like, you can just go back and see some of the shit that she's done. Like, she's just amazing, and they're gonna, I feel like, hold off on a dominant title reign and not even have her do much after she wins the Rumble. I think she's just a perfect candidate. She's just great. She's about to have that main roster call up, so
it would be hella fan service for sure.
Yeah, so I feel Rhea Ripley. Now, that's my pick. So let's circle back again. So Cephus going with the man. Becky Lynch. Rizzo going with Shayna Baszler. Like I said, I love that pick. Love that pick. Like I said, definitely.
I love that we're all 3 different.
Right?
Yeah, that's our first one. I mean, granted, the rest have all been one choice or the other, but
yeah. So the men's Money in the Bank, Rizzo.
Money in the Bank? You mean Royal Rumble?
Why the fuck did Yeah, let me work on number 6.
Yeah,
anyway, Royal Rumble.
Pop another one. Okay, so I think they're going to pull the trigger on Nakamura. He's going to be a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, and he will be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Oh,
that's ballsy.
Oh, okay.
Why else would they change so much about him all for no reason? They changed his theme music back that the fans love to sing along with.
Yeah.
So that right there tells you they're gearing up for something. Why else would they change that if they didn't have a reason to? And where's the best? Go ahead.
No, you're good. They want to keep him. You're right. They want to keep him on the roster. How would they? That would make him super happy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And what better way to introduce the fans back to Shinsuke Nakamura than at WrestleMania this year in Tampa, where there will be fans for the first time in over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this little bastard at the bottom of the screen is going.
Sick invite.
Look, I don't care if I got to pay $1,000 a ticket, dog. I'm going.
And you will. I'm telling you. You will.
Say you ain't even buying our tickets and letting us do a payment plan, man. That's nuts.
Yeah. There's a good chance. I hope you own your house. You might have to mortgage it.
Yeah. Cephus, I'm gonna leave this up to you. Do you want me to go first before your prediction?
You know what? I'm going pretty ballsy too, so it's up to you, brother. I don't care.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with mine because I'm gonna revert back to what I was saying earlier. Why I feel Goldberg is going to win. We just read earlier today that Mia Yim has COVID, so she's not gonna be a part of the Royal Rumble festivities. So hopefully she gets well soon. So that has Keith Lee in question, whether he would be in, or whether they would quarantine him as well, or just overly test him, be like, make sure he doesn't have it so he can be part of everything, which, hopefully
hold up.
As well.
Pause. Why? Is he hitting that or something? Are they dating?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Rizzo and I both like
for a long. I thought there was a joke coming. They've been together for a while, bro.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they were even in a storyline with the Garganos, and
NXT. I didn't know that was okay. I didn't know they were like legit, authentic. Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, we mentioned that earlier with how AEW did that with Moxley whenever Renee Young tested positive. So we're seeing like if that's going to be a thing.
Well, that's not fair. We mentioned that in our chat group. That's if anybody was curious. That's what
yes. So I did mention that because but that was that one. Like I said, was
sorry.
AEW.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to ask that.
Like I said, one that was AEW, and two, like I said, they could be testing out the ass right now with Keith Lee. If they have plans. Like y'all were mentioning earlier, but I feel the reason why Goldberg is going to win in this way that he is going to win in, like I said, less than 5 minutes My pick for the men's Rumble is Riddle.
Wow. I thought you were going to go with Edge.
Riddle goes to Mania. We have Riddle versus Goldberg.
Oh, I love that.
It's going to happen. I don't know. I haven't planned this far ahead, but I think it's something that, like you were saying earlier, we're all talking about Goldberg, like, oh, fuck Goldberg. This is terrible. Why is he in this match? And then we're going to be like, why the fuck did he win this match? And all of a sudden we're going to see Riddle. And we're like, yes.
Oh, that would be Goldberg. So fun.
Riddle wins, fucking kill Goldberg. And that's what's going to happen. So my pick, men's Rumble, Riddle going on a Mania to fight Goldberg.
Luna, that's fucking excellent.
We would have to deal with a Matt Riddle world title run, and I don't think I'm ready for that. He's entertaining enough, but I don't. Oh God, that makes me sick just thinking about it.
We don't have to have a long one because we have a question that, like, before we start recording, that
it's gonna be a Christian title run. He wins, and then on Tuesday he loses again.
Yeah. Cephus.
Okay. I like that a lot, man. But I'm gonna go ballsy choice here too. CM Punk's coming back. He's number 30. Dog.
Look in my eyes. What do you see?
Okay, so
old ass pig from Cephus.
Yeah, like, so if he comes back at number 30, are you predicting that he wins?
Oh, absolutely.
Why? Wait. Asterisk time. If CM Punk comes back, he's winning no matter what. Like all that, he's not coming back if he's not winning. There's no way.
He wants that WrestleMania main event. They want the diehard fan to come back because a lot of us have fell off. How do they bring those numbers back? But then give us our golden boy and give him at the highest possible. Give him what he wanted, why he left. You know what I mean? That'll not only endear WWE to other people, that'll make him loved even more. Like I'm all
okay. So think about this.
Okay.
Imagine what. Obviously, there's a limited draw at WrestleMania, so you can't really say imagine that type of drawing power. Imagine the buying power of the headline of Roman Reigns versus CM Punk.
Right there.
And that was my next question. If he wins it, who's he challenging?
It can't be Drew and it can't be Goldberg because you can't bury Drew like that, and you can't have CM Punk beat Bill Goldberg. That don't line up. So it would have to be think of all those three right there. Those are your three possibilities. CM Punk versus Roman, or CM Punk versus Drew, or CM Punk versus Bill Goldberg. The biggest draw out of all of that by far is CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Well,
and they're trying to shake the stink off the Universal title. What better to do than put the longest reigning champion of the past 10 years holding it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Roman took down the Undertaker. Undertaker, I feel like, is on that pedestal with like Brock, Goldberg. Like, it's gonna be hard to defeat him. Roman beat him, right? Yep. So why couldn't CM Punk beat Goldberg? And
I don't think at that point. I don't think Punk needed it. To be honest, I don't think he needed it at that point. I mean, Brock didn't either, but I don't think CM Punk did.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if CM Punk beats Goldberg, then that could be like the fight, like leading up to like the Undertaker, a send off. Like, all right, Goldberg, you did this, you're great, you know, and it will start with a CM Punk win if we were to have a CM Punk return.
Well, I tell you what, if that happens, I'm gonna scream.
Well, okay, so on the lines, before we go into your last question, Steve, like, who do y'all think if we were to? We'll start with the women's. Cephus, what surprise entrance do you predict for the women's championship? The women's Royal Rumble.
Man, surprise entrance for women is hard because there's only so many that you could pull from that are older. You know what I mean? I would always love to see Stacy Keibler. Kelly. I'd like to see ODB. I'd love to see ODB get a run in WWE. So, and they could definitely use her as a mid-card women talent, put over some noob chicks. ODB would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's just me being hopeful.
Rizzow.
I got nothing.
Nothing
for women's. I got nothing. I've been thinking about that too. I have no clue. I couldn't even begin to guess because anybody that you would think for the most is working for another company already. Yeah. There's nobody independently really out there that you can think off the top of your mind, unless like what Steve was saying, the older generation would really be the only ones, and I don't think any of them would be enough for me to go, ooh, I don't know.
There's one.
Okay.
AJ Mendez.
Jesus Christ. So you're predicting CM Punk and AJ.
Bro, how much would the internet shit if they both came back and won both Rumbles?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past WWE, especially during
Paige. Paige is supposedly clear now, so maybe Paige.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
supposedly
good.
she's starting.
Nothing that I've heard. We're talking about strong women, so you can be in this conversation if you like. Strong women. So
I would rather see your daughter enter the Royal Rumble than Paige. I don't know. I've never cared for her.
I'm already teaching her to bump, so could be possible. Dude, I'm not going off for like a dirt sheet or anything like that. I've just been wanting to see this happen ever since they announced this. I'm gonna go with Melina as an entrant because she's been
that's a good one
advertised for months. So I'm gonna say Melina as an entrant, and who else is not doing anything that would have like that shock factor, like the 2021 Royal Rumble?
There's no one out there, bro. It's
actually I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey. So I predict in this Rumble we're gonna get surprise entrance from Melina and Ronda Rousey, but Ronda's not gonna win it. Like I said, it's just gonna set up for something else because Rhea Ripley's winning. Another double R. All right. And then, so I guess I'll go first with if you guys think there's gonna be a surprise entrant for the males. I'm hoping, and I know you guys are hoping as well, Mr. Kennedy. I've been saying this for the last 3 years, giving his due, get him in the Rumble, Mr. Kennedy.
That pop would be amazing. I mean, it'll be a fake pop, but it'll be a pop.
Like Thunderdome. I feel like I said, we've got the
big dog.
Big dog.
You're saying Roman Reigns is going to enter the Rumble?
I guess so. Kennedy, and I'm going to say Rikishi. Like, so we've gotten the Hurricane, we've gotten all these people coming in. I'm going to say Rikishi's going to be a surprise entry. That's just a bold prediction.
That could work too, because the Yokozuna thing comes out after that, and he could have some kind of Yoko shirt on or something.
Got it. See? Just makes
brilliant.
Sense. Let me get this. I'll be right back. Why is this happening?
So the host has left.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh shit!
What kind of host is that?
Terrible host.
Thank you. I am.
He's back.
Rikishi, Kennedy, Rizzo.
I'm gonna make a real bold prediction.
Okay.
This is a real bold one. Switchblade Jay White makes his WWE debut at the Men's Royal Rumble.
That'd be so dope.
You notice
he's the only NJPW shirt I own.
Yeah, notice that ever since like there was rumblings that WWE was interested, all talk about him has completely disappeared. Mm-hmm. And you know damn good and well if he was in talks with AEW, the dirt sheets would have jumped all over it by now because they would have leaked it to him, and we've heard not a fucking word. Yeah. So I'm saying Switchblade Jay White makes his debut.
Equivalent
now,
to
what show he goes to, not a clue. I mean, honestly, I think it would be in their best interest if he debuted at the Rumble and then was on NXT. So that way he gets a big pop, everyone knows he's there, and then shows up on Wednesday for NXT, and it gives him a little bit of boost. Okay. That would make sense, but it makes a little bit too much sense for Vince, so I don't know if it'll happen.
So what if, taking that, debuts, wins, we have yet to have a Royal Rumble winner challenge for the NXT title? Wait, actually, Charlotte did that, yeah?
Oh, well, yeah, I get for women's, yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so we can have like those stats, because WWE now is unpredictable when it comes to like Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, and stuff like that. Because winning the Royal Rumble now doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. True. Same thing with the Money in the Bank. Just because you win the Money in the Bank, well, now I guess it doesn't mean you're going to keep it. One, and two, that you're going to win.
I think it's time to retire that Money in the Bank shit for a little while. It's lost its kick, and they haven't been consistent with it, so there's no reason to keep it going for right now. Bring it back in like 3 years or so.
Yeah. Cephus.
Okay, one we haven't hit on yet that I'm almost certain is happening. Marty Scurll. I'd love to see Marty Scurll get his chance to debut. I would definitely love to see that umbrella pop up.
Are we going to get a WWE's version of the club now, since AEW and Impact are merging with their Bullet Club?
If I was them, I would leave it all alone and let it, make it seem like, WWE don't even care. Yeah. I wouldn't try to do it.
Okay. Imagine. You don't even imagine. How many more times are you going to clone the same fucking thing? The Bullet Club was a clone of the NWO, which was the NWO was a clone of something that happened in New Japan. So we're on the fourth fucking rendition of the same thing, 4 different times. Stop. Make a new faction. I don't understand this obsession with recreating the same damn factions over and over and over again. It was the same thing that happened with TNA, when somebody who was in TNA needs to inform them that once upon a time something called Fortune was basically the end of TNA as we knew it. Yeah. Stop trying to remake, and I say this knowing that we are the 4 horse marks. I understand that, but that's satire. But
I mean, you guys are. I'm JJ Dillon.
True. But still, it's stop remaking the same thing, create something new, because that's the problem. And that's at the core of it. When you really think about it, at the core of it, it goes back to the same reason why they keep bringing back old stars, because what once worked still works now, but it pushes away the new. And that's the biggest problem, is there's not enough of a focus. When Hogan left WWF, there was a transition period, and then they built new stars. We've never had a transition period, ever. There needs to be that complete break off. It's going to suck dick for about 2 years, but we're already kind of there with Raw anyway. So, I mean, you really got nothing to lose there. Yeah. But there needs to be a transition period for about 2 years to allow that talent to grow, and they're not doing it in general, across the board.
Agreed. Don't forget TNA's infamous The Band group.
Well, that was right when Hogan joined, wasn't it? It was Hall, Nash, and Sean Waltman, right?
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
Band.
Yeah, that went real fucking well for the month it was in existence.
Yeah, it just shows you like where you have to be as far as, like I said, WWE. They can bring it back and make money, but anyone else tries to, they're just like, yeah. So, Cephus, besides Scurll, do you have anybody else you feel like is coming in?
There's a couple I could think of, but I don't think anybody major. I mean, we might see some shit like some, Godfather and shit like that. But I don't think they're going to have a lot of spaces for that this year. I feel like our mystery ones are going to be either impactful, like Marty Scurll, or CM Punk, or just people that are going to make an impact when they actually show up. You know what I mean?
Who needs the paycheck? Who needs the paycheck? That's basically what you got. I mean, for real, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Who needs the paycheck the most? Who's going to come out and risk their life for this money more than anyone, or maybe, sign a new contract or whatever? Because
who they've been talking about wrestling that I'd like to see come back. He's not been in WWE since he was the forgotten member of Legacy. What is he using as his name now?
Shit.
Legacy. You talking about Teddy DiBiase?
Yeah, he was the Samoan one.
It's like Manu.
Manu, yes, Manu.
He has been kicking ass on the indies, and I've heard that WWE's been interested in him. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Who did I see him wrestle before? Let's say the wife and I, we saw him. It was in a tables match in New Hampshire. He was a cool guy, actually. So,
he is a cool dude.
Yeah.
I got one for all y'all. I just thought of this. We'll start with Steve down at the bottom. Unreasonable desired surprise entrance. So, like, for instance, an unreasonable desired entrance to the 2021 Royal Rumble would be Stone Cold as Steve is putting it to the camera. Yes, absolutely.
Wait, so undesirable, like
came back and won the Rumble, I'd be at my house squealing, dog.
You said undesirable, like as entrant, or we'd be pissed if we won it.
Entrant, just anyone that you would like to see, but probably isn't going to happen.
Oh, I got you.
Gangrel.
Gangrel?
Said Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero! Damn!
He just comes out like, I lied, Holmes. I wouldn't know whether to hate him or
I can't believe you just you said I lied.
and he did an Eddie shimmy.
Would that not be the greatest storyline of all time?
Too soon, man. Like, you're gonna make me okay, so you lived in San Marcos.
Everyone would
you're gonna make me the emotional Hispanic drunk right now. With the Eddie mentioned, man.
No.
Oh, that would be the best entrance ever.
Why?
I'd be so happy and angry at the same time. Like, you motherfucker, but yay.
Oh my God, that was awesome. I needed that. Okay, so Luna, we need to get back on track. Luna.
Why? I love you guys.
We need to do a podcast, man.
Yeah. So before I get to a realistic pick, I'm gonna say first. Like I said, I'm gonna give you two. First one is Goldberg. So I hope to God he doesn't lose against Drew and then enters the Rumble.
And then wins.
Yeah. Who do I not think but hope? I will say Fuck, that's a good one. Actually, you go first. Let me keep thinking.
I got one, and this is the reason why I thought about this question, because you guys were talking about people you'd like to see make a comeback and stuff. I would love to see Elijah Burke come back. I think he had a ton of talent in the beginning of his career. He kind of fizzled out as the Pope. I mean, I enjoyed his work. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, at a house show here in at my hometown of Troy, Ohio, he was doing a tag match, and it was him and Devon actually, and Elijah, Damien, whatever you want to call him, Pope. it was his turn to get in, but he wouldn't get in until somebody in the audience threw him gum. And no one had any gum. And he was turning around going, "Who's got gum?" And he wouldn't start the match until someone threw him gum. So I threw him my pack, and he threw me the pack back after taking a piece. And I was like, "Yeah, that's right. Any of y'all motherfuckers ever thrown him some gum before?" Stupidest story in my life, but it was cool for me. So, but anyway, so I have a little, personal connection to him, kinda as a mark.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've always enjoyed his work. I thought he had hella charisma. I don't know why he never got over or never really got the opportunity in WWE. But I would like for him to come back.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I would like for him to come back, and I just don't think he's desirable enough for anybody to care other than a handful of people, unfortunately.
Eugene.
Fuck, man. Actually, I was going to mention that. I was about to say that I'm going to be a little bit biased and talk about the shoot to shit interviews that we've done recently. And like I said, Eugene was on there. We had James Ellsworth, Zach Gowen, and people that all mentioned the Royal Rumble. Like I was saying earlier, like a lot of people talk about how they either love the Rumble, it's their favorite matchup, or they would love to come back and do one. Like I said, Ellsworth mentioned he would like to, one of his bucket list things is to come back to a huge pop at the Rumble. Way post like his active career. Zach Gowen had mentioned that, and then his favorite Rumble was 92. I was going to say Eugene, like that's one of his things that he wants to do now.
He's still young.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like I whenever I was gathering all my info for this interview, I was like, holy shit, this guy's only 45. Right. And then we started this.
He looked great in the interview you did with him. He looked like he's been working out pretty heavy.
Right. And he's training and everything. Like this guy could still go. Like he could be active and do, I say, a full-time schedule at his age and his look, man. He looks great. So I was gonna say, if I was gonna pick people that I have interviewed that mentioned the Rumble and how they would love to do it, like I said, Ellsworth was cool. I wouldn't put him in. Like I said, Zach Gowen, like I said, I don't think anybody would remember or.
Yeah, it wasn't long enough. The cult obscurus of that time would know, but I think that's it.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Eugene would have been the perfect candidate for my prediction to come in. Like I would wish that they would do something like that, because over the last couple of years with the females, I popped fucking hard for Molly Holly and Mighty Molly. Oh, yeah. When Molly Holly came out, I was like, fuck yeah, I like that Molly go round. Like she was great. Not only as an in-ring worker, like they kept pushing this women's revolution, but no one ever talks about Molly Holly. Like everyone that's gone in the Hall of Fame like mentions how much Molly had helped them out and how she offered to get her head shaved so the women can get an actual wrestling match at Mania. You know what I mean? Like no one talked about it. So I popped hard for Molly Holly. Like so the next year she came as Mighty Molly. But
speaking of which, Hurricane.
Yeah, like I said, Hurricane had come back and him and had their moment because he was teamed up with the superhero in training, Roman's brother, Rosie. Like I said, I my hopes and everything was, like I said, when you talk about the Women's Rumble, was Molly Holly. She came in, good stuff. So my thing with like the men's, like I said, Eugene would be great, but I just hope to God Kennedy can finally get a good ending, to the shit that's was given to him. WWE's trying to, clear a bunch of wrongs for people that, don't watch the product and stuff like that. Like they're trying to get, in good graces with like the press and everything.
How cool would this be? How cool would this be? This wouldn't happen, I don't think, but how cool would this be? Kennedy comes back. He obviously doesn't win, but it's him versus Randy at WrestleMania, and Ken goes over. How dope would that be? Because I think Randy knows at this point in his career, he's past the status. He's almost Ric Flairish. It doesn't matter how many times he loses. He's still he could lose for 5 years straight.
Yeah,
5 years straight, and then challenge for the title, and no one would be like, okay, like you know what I'm saying? Like He's to the point now where it doesn't matter how many times he loses. at all. He can
I
be
love
thrown
Randy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He can be thrown into anything and people would love him regardless.
He doesn't need a title. That's the thing. He doesn't need a title.
Right.
Amazingly great. But no, that would be great because they did the whole Kofi Orton storyline where they brought back,
right,
Orton being a dick early in his career, not being enlightened to how the business works. Fast forward, he's like, yeah, it's your time. I'm putting you over. Like we're going to bring back the storyline about when I was an asshole and you're going to revert back everything that I said to you to me, So
right.
I think that would be great because, like I said, Kennedy, a huge mark for him, man. Love it. And it kind of goes into Cephus talking about fucking Eddie Guerrero earlier. That was his last match against Ken Kennedy. And so I think. Sorry. Last thing, Cephus brought it up earlier before we started off. So I'll let you go first. You asked, will we get a cash in?
Yep. I think that might be a potential. I think it might be a failure too. So we'll see about it, but I think it's going to be a high potential that he cashes in tonight.
With who?
I think he's gonna end up trying to cash in. Like, depends on who wins in the Goldberg match. You know what I mean? But I think that there's a significant chance, especially with how much they've been playing it up, that we at least see him with the case. It may not get fully cashed in, but I think that might be a. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they can swerve us, dude. We could really get Miz as the champion all coming out of here. No one thinks it's actually going to happen.
So you predicted that what he was telegraphing this whole time, on Raw, whoever wins this title, he's cashing in.
Yeah.
You could get, Morrison help and everything. Rizzo, who do you think we get cash in tonight?
It's tomorrow, just so you know. Not.
I'm not going to translate when I put this in the audio version.
No, I don't think so. Even if they did, I think it's going to guarantee anything. Absolutely not. They got to rest this for a while. It's just becoming so stale.
Yeah. Well, you remember? Okay, so whenever they brought James Ellsworth back during the Carmella Asuka feud. It was a surprise thing, like, oh shit, like, yeah, because he was helping Carmella so much. What if, hear me out, during this, Morrison comes in, takes some heat, from Goldberg, or Drew, whoever wins that match, and we get a Alex Riley return to help with the Money in the Bank.
Okay.
You're mentioning who needs the check, who.
Yeah,
who's not doing it?
And Cena's been trying to mend the fences of everyone he pushed out of the company. So.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Alex Riley, mainly his music. I love his theme music because back in my day when I was on the Indies, I used Skillet's Rebirthing, which had heavy violins in that thing. So when I heard Alex Riley's, that was mainly violins or that effect, whatever. I was like, man, that's similar to mine. Like, that's some good ass music. Like, if I were to be on the WWE roster, this is the music that I would use. So I not only a fan of him briefly whenever he had his shine, but loved his music. I feel there's going to be a cash in, but my prediction, like I was saying earlier, is going to be at Mania. So we have Riddle win, goes over on Goldberg, Miz cashes in at Mania.
I'm liking your booking, dog, but I don't think Rizzo could live through that.
I mean, it would be like Raw today. Just don't fucking watch it. It's that simple.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're going to get that match that Riddle's been wanting for years. Like I said, he wins a Rumble, gets the Goldberg match. Goldberg, has to do the job for Riddle. Riddle gets the title. We're all like, holy shit, Riddle's getting it. And we're doing the bro. And then Miz comes in, fucking hits him with the briefcase. Skull crushing finale. Now Miz is the champ at Mania.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'm a fucking Miz mark, so I would love that.
Well, before we wrap this up and take it home, last minute Oh, by the way, is any other predictions? Anything that we might have missed or anything?
Don't know how they're going to pull it off, but I hope they pull it off. This one's going to be weird considering the fact there's no audience. But
yeah, but I love, like you mentioned earlier, that at least Mania is going to have fans, and that's going to be legit. So this is one of our favorite pay-per-views, one of a lot of people's favorite pay-per-views. It's going to go off tomorrow.
Not tonight. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. And like I said, and it lays the foundation for Mania. So, like I said, before we cut it off, Rizzow, thanks, man. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you, brother.
Fun, fellas.
Cephus.
Long live Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, my God. Cephus, thanks so much. You made it, bro. Hey, before we cut out, man, do that shimmy again.
Worldwide news. God.
Yeah,
do you think that, like, if that happened, real quick before we get off, if that happened, do you think the world would see him as an enemy?
Or do you think there would absolutely be some people who would be pissed? I would love it. I would have been like, holy shit, this dude just pulled off the biggest swerve of all time.
Well, I would have been like, bro, I would respect him because his wife is now remarried. Yes, his wife is now remarried. Fuck, man. Like, and if he was alive, he could have at least trained Shaw Guerrero a little better.
Okay, we're getting too real now. Guys, it's
the best time of the year tomorrow. Have fun with
it. It is. You're absolutely right.
Wow. But Steve, as I said, we're glad you made it. Before we go, man, you gotta do that. You gotta do that Eddie shimmy again.
He's gotta get it all situated.
I felt a little bit better about it now than earlier.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you later. I'm getting off here.
All right, guys.
See ya.